But we wanted to turn now and profile two of our newer, not the newest, they've been here for a while, but some of the newer city employees that are veterans and individuals that maybe you don't know or you haven't met in the course of their work at the city. And we're going to start in the solicitor's office in the law bureau with Emily Farron. And Emily, let's start with a little bit of a personal profile. Can you talk a little bit about your background, which branch of the military you served with, and what motivated you to go into the military to begin with?
Sure, Mary. Thanks so much for having me today. And as you said, I am a relatively new city employee. I started with the city of Harrisburg in July. In the law bureau, we have a small team of lawyers and a legal assistant. I served full-time active duty in the United States Army midway in my bachelor's degree. I had changed my major several times and decided that I needed a little bit more direction in my life before continuing. So I joined the military at the age of 19. My grandfather had joined the Marine Corps. He convinced his parents to allow him to join when he was 16 and served our country in the Korean War. So it was a little bit of following in the footsteps of family and also just looking in the mirror and saying, hey, Emily, you really need to get your life together and get some direction. So that's what motivated me to join the military.
Well, we're going to talk a bit in a minute about what you do at the city, and but how would you say that the skills that you developed and worked on during the course of your military service have helped inform your current job and your current perspective?
So I really have to echo what General Wolf had said about teamwork. Things that I still do that I picked up in the military. One is I still work out really early in the morning. It gets my day started right. And two, I look for in my professional and personal life team members who I can rely on and I hope in turn feel that they can rely on me, to show up every day, and I give my best. I expect the same from my teammates, to work collaboratively. Again, I have to echo what General Wolf said about, yes, you want to be a member of a team, but you also want to be able to be seen as fully capable to independently execute, whatever task you're working on. So those are really things that when you're in the military, you rely on the people that are in your platoon. Or I served my time at Fort Riley, Kansas in the MEDAC in a pharmacy. There were about 20 to 25 of us. There were some civilian employees, and you had to every day show up and have that team mentality to serve your patients, to make sure that you were upholding the Army values that you committed to, and that everyone was taken care of.
On a personal level, was it difficult for you to transition back into civilian life after serving in the military, or talk a little bit about that, because that's been a theme of the conversation here today.
Sure. So my original contract with the United States Army was 5 years. I was medically separated after 2 years due to a training accident where I was injured and found undeployable. So my time was much shorter than I had planned, but it was still challenging to switch course and be prepared to go. I decided to go back to college at that point. And I remember sitting in out processing, and the goal of that particular meeting was to help develop a resume. And the officer who was helping me with that explained that 87% of veterans do not use, at that time it was the Montgomery GI Bill, that not only college, but different types of training that helps veterans reintegrate back into society and come up with a plan for what your next career might be. And that shocked me. I just remember sitting there thinking, wow, there are all these opportunities out there, and veterans don't know about them or don't know how to get connected to them. And so when I left the military, I used my GI Bill. I returned back. See that you're sharing a picture. This was basic training graduation. That's my sister, my older sister, Amy. My parents drove down to see me graduate from basic training. And so it was good to go back I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I went back to Western Pennsylvania and finished my undergrad degree at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, which is in my hometown. And from there, I decided that I was going to go to law school. So I toured all of the law schools in Pennsylvania, and when I came to tour Widener and Harrisburg, it just seemed like a really good fit. I knew I wanted to pursue a legal career in nonprofit or government sector. So I've been in the Harrisburg area primarily since 2013. And I've done internships and worked at both local and state government, and as I actually worked at the YWCA as well.
Yeah, that's a great connection. So let's talk a little bit. Tell people what you do at the city, and I think they will be perhaps very interested to know the work that you're engaged in.
Sure. So I was hired as the assistant city solicitor for collections. So mostly my plate looks like trying to help people, both residential and commercial accounts, come up to speed on their sanitation accounts, or if they have an outstanding tax issue, if they're going to a property closing, anything like that is primarily what I do. But as I said earlier, we have a small group of really fantastic attorneys who have all taken me under their wing and really helped me develop my research and writing skills, and really any legal need that the city has, it comes into our office, and we work together to come up with a solution for the city.
Sure, there's so much to do on a daily basis with the Law Bureau, and I'm sure it's interesting government sector work. Yeah, you are, however, as you mentioned, responsible for creating settlements and helping collect past due balances and things like that. Could you take just a moment and explain what a lien is and how liens are applied?
Sure. So the Pennsylvania Tax Claim and Municipal Act allows city services to file municipal liens against the property. The named person is the owner of the property, but it's really placing an encumbrance against your property for any outstanding bills. So that could be your tax bill, or here in the city of Harrisburg, the city provides trash services to its residents, and the commercial account holders have, either dumpsters or large trash containers. And when those bills continue to accrue, one, they get penalty and interest, not right now because of COVID, but generally speaking, you will see interest and penalty accrue on your account, and we take action against the property by liening your property. That is after we've exhausted all other remedies with the property owner. We try to contact you and get you to come into compliance. We are happy to work with you about any outstanding balance that you might have before we take that drastic measure. But that is something that we do here in the city.
That's right, and people may also encounter you in the courtroom. I know you've gotten a chance to experience firsthand what the district justice system is like here in the city of Harrisburg. Do you have any reflections on that you'd like to share?
Sure. So, as in addition to filing liens against the property, we also file civil suit against people at the Mr. MDJ's office, depending on one of my coworkers does code violations, and those appeals are then taken at the Dauphin County Courthouse. The tax enforcement office is seen at the MDJ's office, and you will see your outstanding trash bills there as well, if that is an avenue that the city decides to take.
Well, thanks for sharing, Emily, because I think I don't know how much people really know about those aspects of government work and how things are happening behind the scenes. I know, speaking on behalf of the administration, that we're really lucky to have you. Very pleased with all the talent we have in our law bureau and all the many things that we're negotiating and dealing with on a daily basis. So, thanks for telling us a little bit about your story and your time in the military. It was very informative. We're going to go now to Evan Rubin, who is our GIS administrator here for the city of Harrisburg. And Evan, before we talk about what it is that you do and what GIS is, let's start with the same question I had for Emily, which is which branch of the military did you serve in, and when did you serve, and why did you decide to go into the military to begin with?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, for having me on. I served in the Army National Guard from 2010 to 2016. And the reason I joined was to serve my country and to be a part of something that's greater than myself. I think the Army really sort of developed me into my position today. And I think at a young age, that can be very important sort of growing up. And I think it really sort of gave a good impression on me sort of right out of high school.
Yeah, and what skills and takeaways would you say from your service did you take and bring to your current position here at the city of Harrisburg?
I think the main skill is extreme ownership. There's a good book actually by Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership, and it talks about taking ownership of your mistakes in order to build trust at the team level. It's really hard to develop that trust if you sort of blame others for your mistakes, for something you may have messed up on, even if it was a small item. I think taking extreme ownership and responsibility for your actions really helps sort of instill that on others in your team, whether it's in IT or whether it's in family life. Taking ownership of those mistakes is really important in building a strong community, strong camaraderie, and kind of building a strong foundation for whatever organization you're a part of.
Yeah, and how did you become interested in information technology as a career path?
Well, to be perfectly honest, back many years ago, I really found Google Maps and Google Earth back in high school to be very interesting, and I wanted to kind of combine that interest into basically discover what that really was. And I found out about a GIS program at the Millersville University, and that's where I got my bachelor's degree. And then I transitioned into a master's degree at the University of Wisconsin, where I graduated last year.
Thanks for joining us every Friday at noon for Community Conversations with Mayor Papenfuse, where we bring you the latest news and updates from right here in the city. We want to hear from you. What topics do you want to see in an upcoming edition? We look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Facebook Live Community Conversations.